Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lana Squires, and I'm honored to have been invited to share my experiences at Coldwater with all of you tonight. Whether you have been on a Coldwater trip, have been a volunteer or a sponsor, or are completely new to Coldwater, I just want to welcome you on behalf of the Coldwater team. God is clearly working through this organization, and I'm delighted to share what He's done in my life through Coldwater. I'm 16 years old, and I grew up in a Christian home with the most amazing parents and two younger brothers. My childhood was heavily influenced by my parents' strong faith, which grounded my family. I'd say that I had a really easy childhood, honestly. My dad worked really hard to support our family, and my mom always provided emotional and spiritual support for my brothers and I. Like all siblings, my brothers can be very annoying, but Ben, the older of the two, can always make me laugh, and Liam can cook up a storm. He's only 12 years old, but he baked a homemade blueberry pie with hand-picked blueberries and sent it to camp for my friends and I to enjoy. Despite being raised in a loving, supportive family and attending a Christian school, my faith was not really my own, until my experiences at Coldwater. My first experience with Coldwater came during the COVID pandemic. After 2 years with very limited social interaction and being cooped up at home, my parents were anxious for me to be involved in outdoor activities with a Christian group. Through my grandmother's connection to Camp Norland and prayer, my parents discovered Coldwater and were eager to send me and my best friend. During the summer of 2021, I participated in the 1-week Compass trip. This past summer, I returned to Coldwater for the 5 weeks to participate in ACE and Ignite leadership training programs. I absolutely loved my first experience with Coldwater. Compass is a canoeing trip that allowed me to develop my outdoor skills and deepen my relationship with God. I also made some amazing new friends and had the opportunity to meet with God in silence and solitude. If you've ever been on a Coldwater trip, you'll be familiar with morning thoughts. Each morning, a trip leader shares a message from the Bible, asks you guiding questions, and gives you time for prayer. I loved these times every morning because I grew so much closer to God and felt His presence throughout the day. Being involved in synchronized swimming, lifeguarding, and of course school, I find it really challenging to spend time with God during the day. But Coldwater has taught me the importance of these intimate moments. During Compass, I also experienced my first ever solo day. This is when each individual on the trip gets to try various spiritual disciplines, including silence, solitude, prayer, journaling, and even fasting. Each member is separated along the shoreline at sunrise and picked up at sunset. I was super nervous for my first solo day when I heard about it. As a competitive athlete, much of my life is focused around nutrition, so I felt that fasting for an entire day would be really hard. As nervous as I was also excited to see what God would do in my life when I spent a whole day focusing solely on Him. As I expected, God revealed Himself to me clearly in a completely new way. There's something magical about solo days. Focusing completely on God is essentially unheard of in our modern-day society, but it's something that we should all be striving for. If you've never tried something like this, I urge you to go for it. I promise that you won't be disappointed and that God will reveal Himself to you. Coldwater pushed me out of my comfort zone, causing me to grow closer to God. By challenging yourself, you will inevitably grow, whether that be physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually. One of the Coldwater trips that I participated in this summer was ACE, which stands for Adventure Challenge Expedition. ACE absolutely lives up to its name. ACE was such a challenge, physically, spiritually, and mentally. I found it absolutely inspiring to watch my friends on ACE overcome their personal challenges. For example, the fear of heights during cliff jumping, injuries when a canoe fell on someone's head. Hint, that was mine. The physical challenge of paddling every day, and mental battles, perhaps being the hardest of all for some. It's insane to reflect on how I went from barely knowing these people to becoming the best of friends after spending 5 weeks together. ACE is focused on building Christ-centered leaders, which is why each one of the participants and I got to write and share our own morning thoughts. This was another nerve-wracking experience for me, but it helped me so much in expressing my faith. The prompt that our leaders gave us for our first morning thought was Christ-like characteristics. From preparing and sharing my own morning thought to hearing that of my peers, I learned so much about Christ. Again, that identical theme emerges. Challenge results in growth. This past summer, I also participated in Ignite, which is a leadership training program. After the ACE trip, we spent an extended period of time at Coldwater Summer Base Camp. There, we built our serving and leadership skills through hands-on service opportunities and leadership during the Bedrock program for kids between the ages of 9 to 11. During Bedrock, I served as a lifeguard, and my Ignite friends served in many different capacities, such as cabin leaders, kitchen helpers, and background workers. Ignite was not only one of the most fun experiences of my life, but also taught me to serve others like Jesus did. Of course, Ignite ended with an epic celebration service with worship, stories, and tons of dancing and laughter. Through my experiences at Coldwater, I came to know Christ personally. I've experienced God for myself. I've heard his voice, experienced his healing, and witnessed miracles. All of this is a reflection of his unfathomable love and mercy. God has become the foundation for my life. There's only one part of my experiences at Coldwater that I absolutely dread each year: going home and leaving the incredible people that I've come to love and my wilderness home. However, I carry with me the life-changing lessons, memories made, and friendships forged through Coldwater. I come home renewed and strengthened in my faith, ready to live out Christ in my own life. Through Coldwater, God changed my life, and I know he can do the same for you. Thank you.